Yes. So as you guys know, every meeting, we kick things off with one of the work values, and we'll talk about how it relates to us. So we're going to throw this into our little randomizer.
Let's see.
Okay. So today's work value is personal fulfillment.
So we're gonna start this thing all right.
Welcome to Tip on Top of the Tip. I am Zenitra Perry.
And I am INEZ Chimangariso. Personal fulfillment. I like this because I've been talking a lot about this on my YouTube channel recently for the Black moms. Um, so for me, I feel like personal fulfillment is becoming the person who I believe I am.
Mm.
Right? It's like self-actualization. So like who I'm meant to be, like actually becoming that. And that's in all areas, right? So whether I am in my corporate job, right, and there is a role I believe I'm supposed to play there, or, a position that I believe that I'm supposed to be in, right? And I've been given in my spirit to be in, like getting there. Fulfilling it is getting there, right? But also in my life, like the woman that I'm supposed to be, the mom that I'm supposed to be, like actually achieving those things. There's a guy who has a quote. He's like, one person's obedience is tied to so many others people's destiny. And for me, personal fulfillment is a value because I don't know whose destiny me fulfilling who I'm supposed to be is tied to.
Mm-hmm.
But I know as long as I'm focused on being who I'm supposed to be, they will be able to get there, right? In some way it will work out. Um, it's like, to me, it's kind of like just dying on empty. Like I have my one and only tattoo is stir up the gift. And it comes from 2 Timothy 1:6-7, where it talks about like basically stir up the gift that God has given you, because he hasn't given you a spirit of fear, right? He's giving you a spirit of power, love, and sound mind. And to me, that is like a omen for like a reminder to myself, like regardless of what is going on in your life, like you should be headed toward what you believe is for you, fulfilling who you're supposed to be, stirring up the gift that he's given you, um, and making sure that you are making the world better than what you came into it, right? And fulfilling the goals and the dreams and the passion and the purpose that has been placed on your life.
I love that. When I was thinking about personal fulfillment, it hit me that I've kind of always been on this quest for personal fulfillment, like literally my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that it was the way that everyone lived, that you're always being introspective and thinking about what it is that you enjoy, your likes, your dislikes, just having a vision for yourself, and then actually taking the steps to go after that. So when I see personal fulfillment as a value, it made me grateful that I've always been in that space, and I've been kind of nurtured and reared in a way that allowed me to focus on that. Because then I hear other stories where people are like, I was just doing what people told me to do, or, I
Mm-hmm.
didn't really, have a plan, and I was just kind of going with the wind. And everyone has their own path. But for me, personal fulfillment has always been kind of front and center. I've
Mm-hmm.
always known that I'm destined to do great things, and that those great things are only specific to like great in my life, right? Like I'm not comparing it to anyone else. It's
Mm-hmm.
not to be determined by anyone else. So it really is a personal fulfillment. It is my definition of great things. And so I'm always seeking that. And I remember reading one of my favorite books, The Alchemist, and they talked about being on your personal legend, your quest for your
Mm-hmm.
personal legend. And when I read that book, kind of the things that I had been thinking about all of my life internally without
Mm-hmm.
a definition for it, just kind of how I moved, it was crystallized to be like, oh, wait, this is really a thing. It's not even just something that's in my head, but it's
Right.
something that we can all kind of, strive for, be on the quest for. And it can truly lead to kind of the greatness that at least I want to see for myself. And I hope that others want to see for themselves as well.
Yeah.
So it just, I laugh because, I always say I've been growing my whole life. Like I've always had a plan. I've always been trying to figure out how I can help others, how I can use my gifts to, pour into the
Mm-hmm.
world. And one of my favorite sayings is that the vision that we have for ourselves is only the beginning. And even though we think that it's the end,
Mm-hmm.
it really allows the universe or God or, kind of whoever it is that you believe in to then bring all of the things to you. But the
Mm-hmm.
vision that you have is not the end. It's really just the beginning that gets you started. And I'm always amazed by the things that come when I'm trying to actualize this vision that I have in my head. So
Right.
personal fulfillment, it has always been a core value to the point where it's like part of my DNA. And it's just interesting to hear other people's journeys to their own personal fulfillment.
Mm-hmm.
With no judgment to how they got there or when they got there, but just realizing that for me it's always been there.
Mm-hmm. As you were saying that, I realized it's been the same for me. Like it's always been in my mind, right? For some reason, like I've always felt like I'm meant to be a certain thing for my family, right? Like the role that I play is a unique one, right? Like I'm not just here to be here. Like I'm here to do something, and like it really is to me as I think about it. Personal fulfillment is at the root of being a coach,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like the reason why I became a coach is because I realized I kind of always been a coach. And it's because of the lens that I view my life through with regard to, you know, going after what I'm purposed to do, paying attention to what I'm purposed to do, listening intently, making it a priority. Like even with travel, I say, where you want to go is tied to who you're meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's not just a trip that you want to go on and you just happen to want to go to this place. Like there's a part of who you are, your identity there too. Right. And I realized after I had coaching that is what I see for other people. Right. Even the people who don't see it for themselves or are not paying attention to, or like you were saying, are just kind of going with what people have told them to do. I have always been the person in their life who's like, but what are you meant to do? What do you want to do? Well, girl, go do it. Well, this is how you could do it. Like, let's do this. Like, just helping other people and pushing other people to also focus on and value that personal fulfillment and not take it for granted has been something I've always done. So I was like, this is absolutely the profession for me because I live and love to see people fulfill themselves just as much as I love to fulfill my personal passion in my life.
Yeah. No, and I think you hit on something that in order to be able to see it for other people, it helps if you can see it for yourself. I'm not even going to say that it's required because some people can see things in others that they just can't see in themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a part of their own personal journey too. But just when you've kind of lived this life of being intentional about what you want, being able to manifest and bring into life kind of the things that you've desired, the ideas that just existed into your head, and then to see them in reality. When
Mm-hmm.
you live that life, that comes from a place of experience that you can then pour into other people and share with them, like, you can do this too, and you can do it from your own perspective, right? So, we as coaches aren't trying to create any version of people other than
Right.
the one that naturally aligns with who they are.
Yep.
So it really is about self-discovery and understanding, the things that you enjoy, the things that you like, the things that you don't like, releasing the expectations that others have of you so that you truly can go be on this quest for your own personal fulfillment. And so because we viewed life from that perspective, it helps in us being able to encourage others to kind of, live out their own personal fulfillment as well. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely a core value. It's at the top. It's at the top.
Yes. Absolutely. So, yeah, we about to jump into the tip for the day. What is the tip for the day?
Oh, so today's tip, it's and by you, I mean we.
Honey, and let me tell you, this joint right here is us. When I tell y'all this is us, like, and by you, I mean we always use this. So I love it because it's so representative of like our vernacular, but also just the way we move in our friendship,
Yeah.
right? Like, so what does and by you I mean me.
I,
I mean we. By you I mean we mean to you.
every week I am tickled at this whole just linguistic vernacular world that we live in, that I don't realize everyone else doesn't speak, and that a lot of times I'm the author of, and I'm like, girl,
Yes.
you need to chill out. But anyway, not right now. But yeah, so this came about during one of our many conversations, and I'm sure this is at least 15 years old, if not even approaching 20 years old. But INEZ was sharing one of her work challenges with me. And if you've listened to the other ones, it started out with, my response with, I got something for that, or, we're going to make sure that you're good. And by you, I mean we. So it really is this sisterhood, this kinship that has been formed over 30 years, that is a way of saying, I got your back. And not only do I have your back, but I'm literally in this with you, right? So anything it is that you are looking to challenge, to tackle, please know that you got it. And by you, I mean we. You have a solution. And by you, I mean we. So we're always going to be in this thing together. You're never limited to what's at your disposal in your own hands. Like what I have access to, the knowledge that I have, the resources that I have will always also be available to you. And so I think in any conversation that starts out with like, I need, there's a response of like, okay, well, you can do this. And by you, I mean we.
Yes.
Because it's always going to be a we situation.
Yes, absolutely. Like in my mind, as I'm thinking about it, I feel like it is a version of like touching and agreeing. Yeah. Right? Like they're like we touching and agreeing on whatever the situation is, like, and to your point, like we're in this together. I think the benefit of that is to always feel like there's a unity, right? A solidarity between us. And I think it's really important in friendship to know, like, whatever the situation is, if you've seen, I don't even know if we've done this as a tip. Yeah, I can't remember. But another thing we say is like, we ain't never stuck, right? And it is even in those conversations, the conversation is one person feeling like they're stuck, right? But the vernacular is we ain't never stuck, right? And it is at the root of, by even in your individuality, we are a team, we are still whole, like, and the sisterhood is still there, and I'm with you on this journey. I'm agreeing with you, and I'm also willing to be there through this journey with you and help you figure it out, and to overcome it. And just, it is, I feel like one of the things that I love about it is also a reminder of our identity, right? So if you're watching the tip, the whole purpose of the tip is like, these are the things that we say to ourselves, which is very important. The way you speak to yourself, right, is very important with who you are and who you become, right? Who you present yourself as in the world, right? And so even this is a reminder of, even in sometimes when it can be a struggle at work, right? You can be feeling doubt about a certain situation. You can feel stuck in a certain situation. You can feel scared about a certain situation. We have each other to remind each other and to pull each other up and to call each other out and be like, this is where I am on the situation. And I know you're not there, but technically you are, because by the fact that I am there, we are there. Like, this is where we stand on this topic, right?
There are so many sayings that are more negative, right? Like, I came in this world by myself, I'm gonna die by myself, or even when that's not as extreme. My mom always used to tell me, if you have one true good friend in this world, then you're truly blessed. And I literally took that to heart, and I've known INEZ for 30 years. So, I mean, I met her in the 4th grade. So I'm giving this advice as I'm going off to college, and I'm like, I already got my good friend. Like, I'm good. I don't need no more. Like, I mean, y'all cool, but I don't need any more friends. However, I have been able to use our friendship as a model for building strong relationships, for building allyship, so that one friend turned into 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the 5, and even beyond friendship. When I look at it in a corporate context, you need that allyship at work as well, right? Like, when we go into this meeting, understanding what the different objectives are for the people in the room from their perspective, and be like, okay, I got your back, you got mine. We're going to be able to go in here and tackle whatever this problem is, and we're going to be able to do it together. So while it was created in the context of our personal lives,
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what that was. That was
Like,
odd.
no. Right. It was like, boop, turn her mic off, like
It
Charlamagne
just
said.
right. Well, it was doing some crazy stuff over here, so I'm glad it did. I think it's always crazy that when I'm talking that the crazy stuff happens.
Right.
But anyway, but yeah.
Oh, what had happened?
They
What
think
had happened to us?
I'm too loud. I'm too animated.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna kick it over to you.
Because I also am super animated. Yeah, like I think from a corporate perspective, you're correct. Like that allyship is really important in a team dynamic. Um, it's funny because as I think about my most close relationships in my personal life, and then also the people who I choose to make friends at work, right? Because everybody, Lord knows, that everybody can't be your friend, right? Even though I be trying sometimes. I used to try all the time, okay? Everybody can't be your friend, okay? So I have also used our friendship as a model, both in life, but also at work. And the people who have really become my friends, like after I leave, I still talk to them, are the people who I definitely would say I have the mentality of by you, I mean we, right? Because there's a certain amount of agreement that we came to. Like, even though we were individuals, there was a very common interest, right, in what we were trying to achieve and who we show up as. We were on one accord a lot of the time. There was a very easy type of harmony with each other. And so having that allyship helps you to feel seen in the corporate space, but it also helps you to, depending on where that person's role is in the organization, it also gives you an opportunity to have a voice in rooms that you wouldn't necessarily have, and have your opinion shared or your point of view shared in rooms that you may not necessarily be in, a form of sponsorship, right, in the corporate world too. So I think, and you can really tell when someone is of this mindset, like, and it's not even, it's not a spoken thing. I feel like it's an energy thing, right? You can tell when somebody is energetically in unity with you, and is willing to stand up for you, but also is willing to in some way like sacrifice maybe potentially relationships, or be willing to not have people like what they're saying or not be in agreement with the norm, right? And stand up for what they truly believe in, right? Because sometimes when we're on one accord, it's not how everybody else thinks. Right? Everybody else ain't gonna move in this manner, right? Like, even when I think about some of the ways that we moving for your birthday trip to Bali, everybody not gonna move in this manner, honey. But it's okay, because by I mean we going, like,
That's it.
right? Like, that's it. So it's like, are you willing, and do you know that this person is willing to be outside of the in crowd, outside of the norm, but still very much in alignment with the mindset that you all agree on?
You know what? I love that. And it's interesting because I think that we're naturally positive people. So we oftentimes speak from the perspective of when it works. But there are definitely situations where we've been in where it's like, not you and I, but thinking more corporately, or even just in your personal life, where you don't feel like people have a we mentality, right? And it requires a certain amount of vulnerability in order for you to even share that you have an issue, right? Because the only reason why we're having this, and by you, I mean we, conversation, is because there's a challenge there. And I need you to know that I'm with you, that I'm supporting you in this. I'm going to help you. So to even be able to get to that place where you feel comfortable enough sharing with someone what that challenge is, there's a certain level of vulnerability there.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, sometimes people take advantage of that. And, when I think about it from a work context, I've definitely been in situations where I've had leaders who I felt like did not have a we mentality, right? That I couldn't trust them with sharing what I didn't know. I always had to present myself as if I was flawless, which none of us
Mm-hmm.
are, as if I was all knowing, which none of us are.
Mm-hmm.
And it really made me feel like I had to go elsewhere in order to get support, in order to get answers. And so that's how you end up in these situations where you have to rely on folks outside of kind of your regular core team or even outside of your leader to help support you and help you kind of brainstorm how to approach this situation. So it's not always,
Yeah.
hunky dory where you're like, oh, my team, we move with the we spirit. Like it's not
Mm-hmm.
always like that. And to your point, people will not always like the decisions that you're making or the direction that you're going in. There's going to be some risk that's required in terms of you living out your personal legend, i.e. this trip to Bali.
Right.
But you have to have your we team that's going to say, you know what, whatever we have to do to make this happen, we're going
Yep.
to do it. And that happens in, trying to figure out how to navigate your career, personal
Mm-hmm.
decisions in your life, whether you could be having issues in your relationship and you need someone that's on your team that you can speak to say, hey, we're gonna figure this out. Even though I'm not in the situation, I don't directly benefit from it. But by you, I mean you're gonna be good, we're gonna be good. You got
Yep.
this. I'm gonna help you in it. And by you winning, we win just because I want to
Yes.
see you happy. So
I love that.
it's crazy how those difficult times are the ones that really require these types of responses. And to your point earlier, these are the things that we say to ourselves when we're in these situations, because how you navigate these challenging situations really is a determining factor of whether you see it through or if it knocks you down.
This is the truth, child. I'm like, I love that. Like this is like I said, this is one of our absolute favorite ones that we use, like, honey, because we will throw that by you. I mean, we in there fast. Like this is it, okay?
Yeah.
Like, and it really is an affirming, and I don't even know how to explain it. It is a very just a comforting phrase that we use, because it's like it's empowering, right? Because it allows us to be able to know that, we also, the funny thing is, just baby, that just flashed in my mind. So when we were younger, we would always take pictures back to back, right? So we would be like literally back to back and have our arms folded. We was planning to get matching tattoos with the B to B on it. But I feel like by you, I mean we is really that, because it's really like I have your back. Like we in this together. Like whatever the fight is and whatever the fun is, we are in there together. Right? It don't even matter. Either
Whatever
way.
the fight is, whatever the fun is. I love that. The
Yes.
fight or the fun,
The fight
it's
or the
definitely a
fun.
we situation. I mean, you
Yes.
talked about the unity of it earlier, and I really love that because whenever we think about problems, we think about I have a problem. Like this is my problem. It's something that I'm going through. I don't know how to handle it. And that individual perspective is really what can even force you to isolate or, really just force you to get kind of down in the dumps. But this immediately put somebody in the trenches with you, like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so now it's a team
Right.
effort and now it's not just me, and now you bring a different perspective to let me know that, oh, like we can climb up out of this thing. So that unity, I think, is a really big piece of it, because whenever you have a problem, you really are only thinking about it from your individual perspective.
Mm-hmm. This is true. Mm-hmm. So who are the people, or what are the I'm trying to think of, like, what are the times, right, that you as somebody who is watching this have been, and of the mindset of by you I mean we, right? Like who are the people in your life where you know for a fact, like, if I'm in this, we in this together, right? For the fight and for the fun. And is that a value for you, right? Like, do you find many of those relationships, or do you just have one person, right, who you feel that way? And is it really a value for you as well? I'd be interested to know.
Yes, we are looking forward to hearing your comments, but catch us back here, same time, same place in 2 weeks. So
Yes,
thank you
yes.
guys.
See y'all.